For 3 years I'd been playing a role. The perfect in-house husband to my powerhouse CEO wife, Victoria Sterling. And I was damn good at it. It was all part of the plan, of course. My wife, the resident ice queen, was a woman torn. The more I leaned into the sweet, sensitive guy routine, the more guilt she'd feel. When she finally left me for a childhood sweetheart, that guilt would translate into a divorce settlement that would set me up for life. My entire future hinged on these 3 years of masterful acting. "Honey, can you spend my birthday with me tonight?" I said, my voice dripping with hopeful vulnerability. "I know you're meeting him tonight. Your long-lost love. Go. I even packed a little care package for you. Besides, my real party was waiting for me." To my shock, the ice queen didn't leave. She wanted to come to the bar with me. I checked my reflection, fluffing my hair. The soft, toy-next-door face paired with the simple, cozy lounge screamed devoted husband. It was a look I'd perfected. This face, this carefully crafted aura of gentle devotion, was guaranteed to make Victoria Sterling feel so damn guilty she'd give me half of everything she owned. That was the golden parachute, my ticket to freedom. The front door opened, and Victoria strode in, her face a mask of cool indifference. Her makeup was severe, a look that was equal parts off-limits and come and get me. I immediately wiped the smug look off my face, rushing forward to take her coat and slide a pair of slippers toward her feet. She remained as cold and remote as ever, the warmth of the house doing nothing to thaw the frost on her features. Still, I kept up the act, nuzzling up to her like a golden retriever. As I did, I subtly dropped the care package I'd prepared into her designer handbag. "Honey," I said, "can you spend my birthday with me tonight?" Victoria glanced up, her gaze sharp enough to cut glass. "You absolute witch. I've rented in my mind. I'm your husband. I ask you to celebrate my birthday, and you have the nerve to glare at me." My inner monologue was raging, but my face remained a perfect portrait of soft, hopeful love. Victoria's brow furrowed. "What was that sound?" I looked around, feigning confusion. "I don't hear anything." She must be hearing things. All that work was finally getting to her, or maybe she was just so excited about her little rendezvous with Prince Charming that she was getting paranoid. Her eyes turned cold again as she stood up. "I have a client dinner tonight. I'll have a cake delivered. You can celebrate here," she said. Light my face. "A client dinner, right?" As if anyone would believe that transparent excuse for a booty call with your ex. Here it comes, the turn. The pitying glance. Victoria turned her head, looking at me with something that could almost be mistaken for regret. I seized the moment, crafting an expression that was 7 parts disappointment and 3 parts quiet strength. I turned away. "It's okay, honey, you go. I'll be fine here by myself." Go. The party supplies are in your bag. Besides, I've got my own plans. The guys are waiting. We're hitting the club. Hitting it hard. My night is going to be epic." I held the pose, a portrait of the martyred house husband, while inwardly I was bursting with joy. The thought of the impending divorce and the mountain of cash that came with it had me fantasizing about sports cars and a life of blissful, decadent freedom. Lost in my daydreams, I didn't notice the slight twitch at the corner of Victoria's mouth. Whole as ever, she just nodded and walked out the door. The second it clicked shut, I leapt into the air. "Yes, let's get this party started. It's been 3 years since I woke up inside a trashy romance novel. I'm the supporting male character. The chump. The hero of the story is Lucas Bennett. With a name like that, you know he's destined for greatness. He broke up with the female lead, Victoria Sterling, to go get his MBA at Stanford. Victoria, in turn, married me, a handsome trust fund kid who was genuinely, deeply in love with her. She then used my family's resources to build a corporate empire in just 3 years. To ensure I'd stay a compliant house husband, she even staged a hostile takeover of my family's company, neutering any ambition I might have had. The original Adam Miller, the guy whose life I inherited, was obsessed with Victoria. He debased himself, swallowing his pride to be her doormat. But he knew about Lucas, so he resorted to increasingly desperate measures to keep Victoria by his side, drugging her, trying to hire a hitman to take Lucas out, all kinds of insane schemes. In the end, Victoria threw him out with nothing, unlike the original Adam. My moral compass is, shall we say, more practical. I don't love Victoria, but I do love money. The novel mentioned that Victoria, out of respect for my family's initial help, had planned to give me half of her assets in the divorce, but the original Adam's psycho behavior torched that deal. He ended up in prison and died penniless. That wasn't going to be my ending. For 3 years I've been the perfect house husband. In Victoria's eyes, I'm a harmless, devoted man. I've even been subtly trying to push her and Lucas back together, laying the groundwork for their reunion so I can get that sweet divorce settlement and ride off into the sunset. I went to my room and took a quick shower. I swapped the cozy loungewear for designer jeans and a leather jacket, running some product through my hair to give it a messy style look. The man in the full-length mirror was a world away from the soft, gentle husband. This was a player, a rogue with a dangerous glint in his eye. Show time. I twirled the keys to my McLaren on my finger and strode out of the room. Down in the garage, I slid into the driver's seat. The engine roared to life, a thunderous sound that matched the pounding in my chest. Freedom was so close. And then, click. A set of blindingly bright headlights flashed on from the other side of the garage. My first thought was that we had an intruder, but then I saw the vehicle, a Mercedes G-Wagon built like a tank, and stepping out from behind the wheel, a pair of long, slender legs in sheer stockings. My blood ran cold. She hadn't left. Where are you going? A smirk played on Victoria's lips. Her cool, appraising eyes swept over me, and I saw a flicker of something new in them: surprise, and maybe even appreciation. I'll admit it, I'm a handsome guy. A woman like Victoria would never have married me. Even as a cover, if I wasn't. You weren't you supposed to be at a client dinner? I stammered, shrinking back in my seat, trying instinctively to hide the outfit that completely shattered my carefully constructed persona. The corner of her mouth lifted into a small, genuine smile. We've been married for 3 years, and this is the first time you've ever asked me to spend your birthday with you. I rescheduled. My phone busted. It was the guys. See where I was. What the hell is wrong with this woman? I thought. Ditching her soulmate to spend a birthday with me? This is bad. This is really bad. She's going to see right through me. My mind was a chaotic mess. Just then, I saw her reach into her handbag. Her expression soured as she pulled out the small bottle of massage oil I'd slipped in there. Panicked, I blurted out the first thing that came to mind. It hurts the first time. I heard this stuff helps. The words were out before I could stop them. I squeezed my eyes shut. 3 years of work. 3 years of building the perfect character, all gone up in smoke. I had to salvage this. I looked up at her, my eyes wide with the most pathetic, wounded deer expression I could muster. You think I don't know? You and Lucas have been in touch this whole time. My voice cracked. You never have client dinners at night. You were going to see him, weren't you? Nice pivot. Put her on the defensive. Expose her. Genius. Adam, pure genius. Victoria didn't say a word. She just pressed her lips together, a deep crimson line, and rested her hand on my car door. Get out. I wasn't about to argue. I scrambled out of the car. The moment I was on my feet, she pushed me back against the hood. Her eyes, now dark with an emotion I couldn't place, bored into mine. I put you through a lot these last few years. I made you into something you're not. I was speechless, but my mind was screaming, oh God, she's lost it. She's completely lost it. What's she doing? Why is she unbuttoning her coat? Oh my God, is she serious? She can't do this. If she's not a virgin for Lucas, he'll never take her back. Pain. She leaned in and crushed her lips against mine. My brain short-circuited. Everything went blank. It wasn't that I was some kind of prude. For the kind of money I was playing for, I had already sacrificed my dignity. My chastity was a small price to pay. But this plot twist was so far off script, I was completely stunned. Tori, are you in here? Eamon, holding a bouquet of roses, appeared at the open garage door. He wore a sharp suit and stylish, wire-rimmed glasses, a hint of stubble giving him that rugged, intellectual look that drove women crazy. Was Lucas. He strode into the garage, a hopeful smile on his face which immediately vanished when he saw us. My brain rebounded. I shoved Victoria away and frantically tried to smooth out my clothes. Mr. Bennett, it's not what it looks like. How did you get in here? Victoria and I spoke at the same time. I quickly added, nothing happened, I promise. Lucas ignored me completely, his wounded gaze fixed on Victoria. Tori, I'm back. I called, but you didn't answer. So I came to find you. He gestured vaguely toward the house. Your security system still has my face print registered. I just let myself in. I didn't think. I didn't know you'd be here. The nerve of this woman. I thought. They're broken up, and she didn't even bother to change the security codes. I forced a meek, friendly smile, the kind my character would wear, while my inner voice was spitting venom. But for that 8-figure settlement, I could maintain the facade. Victoria's jaw tightened. She shot a look at Lucas. I'm busy. I don't have time to mess with the security system. Though she was speaking to him, it felt like she was explaining herself to me. She turned back to Lucas, her voice dropping to a low command. Get out of my house now or I'm calling the police. No, don't. I'm going. I'll go. Lucas, not wanting to push her, backed away. But as he left, he shot me a look of pure, triumphant victory. Sorry, I know you still have feelings for me. I can forgive this. I've waited 3 years, I can wait a little longer. Get out. I never thought I'd hear Victorious Erling say that word to the man she was supposedly madly in love with. He's just leaving. No, don't go. This isn't how the story is supposed to go. I was dumbfounded as Victoria straightened her dress. I spoke up cautiously. Honey, maybe you should go after him. He looked really upset. She shot me a sideways glance. We're all adults here, so what if he's upset? She said. Besides, he and I are ancient history. She picked up my leather jacket from the car hood and draped it over my shoulders. If he gets hit by a car on his way out, it has nothing to do with me. Wow, that's cold. Something is very, very wrong here. My forced smile was starting to crack. But the mask had been on for so long it was practically my face. Let's go, she said. To where? To celebrate your birthday. But since it's her birthday, we should do it right. Let's go to a club. A cold dread washed over me. A club? Are you kidding me? This was a direct assault on my character. If she found out I was a regular who drinks and parties, my 3 years of playing the perfect house husband would be for nothing. There goes my settlement. But in our house, Victoria's word was law. She grabbed my arm, pulled me toward her G-Wagon, and fired up the engine. So, she said, turning to me, which club do you want to go to? My mind raced. How about the Vanguard? She asked me. Okay. Anywhere but Lucid. If she finds out my friends have thrown me a surprise party there, I'm toast. I stared down at my lap, deep in thought, and completely missed the beautiful, knowing smile that spread across Victoria's face. As we drove, Victoria's phone rang, its generic ringtone cutting through the silence. The screen showed an unknown number, but at this point I knew exactly who it was. Without thinking, I reached over and hit the answer button, putting the call on speaker. Tori? Sure enough, Here Focus's voice, a perfect blend of devastation, pain, and misery. The man was an artist. I'm so cold, he said, and I can't get an Uber. The villa was out in the suburbs at this hour. He'd be lucky to see a stray cat, let alone a car. Okay. What's my line here? How do I play this to showcase my magnanimous, understanding soft boy persona? But Victoria didn't give me a chance to perform. She stabbed the end call button on the steering wheel, then gave me a look, her eyes flicking upward in a way that could only be described as an eye roll. She was definitely rolling her eyes at me. I thought, and it scared me. Honey, I'm so sorry, I stammered. I just thought you'd want to talk to Mr. Bennett. I was genuinely rattled by my own boldness, but Victoria was already focused on the road, as intense behind the wheel as she was in the boardroom. She didn't seem to have time for my drama. A few minutes passed in silence. Then her phone rang again. My hope surged. She can't resist. Their bond is too deep. She's going to answer it. In the book, she tortured me to death for this guy. Screech! The G-Wagon jerked to a stop on the side of the road. Victoria stared at the phone for a long moment before picking it up and answering. The car's Bluetooth was still connected, so I heard every word. Victoria. How can you be so cruel, so selfish? Lucas's voice was thick with accusation. I went abroad for us, for our future. I can understand you being angry with me. Even now that you're married, I can forgive you. Just leave him and I'll marry you tomorrow. I'll give you a lifetime of happiness. Victoria said nothing for 3 years. I thought about you every single day. I messaged you constantly, but you never once replied. Your coldness is breaking my heart. Finally, Victoria spoke. Lucas, I need you to stop contacting me. I am a married woman. What you're saying is completely inappropriate. I sat frozen in my seat. Victoria hung up and then, for good measure, turned her phone off completely. I still couldn't process it. No way. Is she really this ruthless? Her childhood love, the great romance of her life, and she just cuts him off like that. This plot has gone completely off the rails. And she never, ever called me her husband in front of other people. I couldn't shake the feeling of profound unease. We drove on until the car stopped again. Victoria turned to me. We're here. I nodded, feeling dazed, and turned to get out of the car, but as I looked up, my blood turned to ice. The pulsing neon sign in front of us spelled out one word. LUCID. I just checked the map, she said casually. The place you mentioned was too far. This is closer. We can start here. I have other plans for later. I stammered. Honey, I'm suddenly not feeling so well. I don't think I can rink. Victoria was already out of the car and had opened my passenger door. Her eyes narrowed, a dangerous glint in them. You can have juice, but we're already here. So don't be a killjoy. The vibe inside Lucid was electric, but because of its secluded location, it wasn't overcrowded. Victoria walked ahead while I hunched over behind her, trying to use the dim, pulsing lights as camouflage. I'd forgotten one crucial detail. Tonight, Lucid was my turf. Adam, where have you been? A figure dodged past Victoria and came right for me. It was Sam, my best friend. He was younger than me, dressed in effortlessly cool streetwear, his blue-dyed hair catching the light. Sam, stay back, I hissed, jumping in front of Victoria like a startled chihuahua. My wife can't stand the smell of alcohol. I glared at him, trying to send a frantic Morse code message with my eyes. Thankfully, Sam wasn't an idiot. The word wife, practically shouted, was all the clue he needed. He stopped in his tracks. Oh, all right. So this is the impressive wife you've told me about. He cleared his throat. Nice to finally meet you. With a nervous cough, Sam beat a hasty retreat into the club. You two wait here a second. I've got a friend to set you up in a quiet VIP room, so you and your wife won't be disturbed. Good man, Sam. You're a lifesaver. If he had actually gone through with the party, my cover would be blown. and my golden parachute would go up in flames. I knew I could count on him. He was one of the few people who knew I was playing the part of the perfect husband for a powerful CEO. He was running ahead to dismantle the surprise party. A smirk touched Victoria's lips. She grabbed my hand and followed right behind Sam, pulling me into the main room. No need for a private room. We came for the atmosphere. I dug my heels in, grabbing her arm. No, 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 honey. It's crazy in there. Let's just wait for Sam to get us a room, please. For the love of God, don't rip away my last shred of dignity. The main hall was decked out balloons, streamers, the works. It was a party zone. Peeking over Victoria's shoulder, I saw Sam frantically tearing down a freshly hung banner. I let out a small sigh of relief. The kid works fast. Still, better lay low. I kept my head down as I followed Victoria to an empty booth. I was so on edge that I didn't see the shadow of disappointment that crossed her face as she scanned the room, her gaze returning to me every few seconds. What can I get for you, too? It was Sam, now wearing a waiter's vest and a cheesy grin. Victoria raised an eyebrow. Isn't that your friend? He works here? I had no idea what Sam was playing at. I just stammered. Yeah, he does. That's why I come here sometimes, too. Do you know? Hang out. Victoria nodded slowly as if accepting this. Just some water for me, she said. I'll have a Coke, please. I added. Need some sugar to calm my nerves before my blood pressure blows a gasket. Victoria suddenly turned to me. You know you can have a drink if you want. I'm driving. I looked up, plastering on my sweetest, most earnest smile. You know me, honey. I'm a total lightweight. I've drunk an entire table of frat boys under the table. Sam's mouth twitched. He turned and walked toward the bar, pulling out his phone. A second later, my phone buzzed. Sam, dude, you are a hell of an actor. I texted. Sam, are you just with this woman for her money? He replied. I lost. We're in love, I shot back. The truth is not something I could ever admit. Even to him. Right, he texted back. Well, she looks like she takes better care of herself than you do. You'll probably die first. I texted back a single word, jerk. I tossed my phone onto the couch and focused on my Coke. The truth was, the original Adam really had loved Victoria. He'd given her everything. But, in the face of her one true love, his 3 years of devotion had meant nothing. Lucid wasn't a wild place. The clientele was mostly upscale. Given that it served the wealthy suburbs, I knew half the people here. But either Sam had put the word out or my hiding skills were top-notch, because no one approached me. The boredom was starting to make me drowsy, but as I lifted my head, any thought of sleep vanished. Walking through the entrance was a group of 4 or 5 people, all clustered around a man with ruggedly handsome stubble and an air of effortless cool. Lucas, what the hell is that creep doing here? I thought. He was freezing to death on a street corner somewhere. I shot to my feet, trying to block Victoria's line of sight. Honey, in my haste, I lost my balance and lunged forward, stumbling directly into her. Victoria didn't move. She just put her hands up to catch me. But, while I might play the part of a soft boy, hit the gym regularly, a man has to be in shape to spend a fortune after all. There was solid muscle under my lean frame. My weight was too much for her. I sent her tumbling backward onto the sofa, landing right on top of her. Sorry, I stammered. She shook her head, not seeming to mind. She didn't push me off, but my heart was hammering against my ribs. Honey, maybe we should just go home. Victoria gently pushed me off her, her silky hair falling in slight disarray around her face. For a moment, she looked almost fragile. Why can't trust between people just be simple? She murmured. The question caught me so off guard I didn't know how to answer. Seeing my silence, she stood up, a look of resignation on her face. She looped her arm through mine and started leading me toward the exit. And then I saw Lucas. The Stanford NBA was in his element, holding court on the dance floor with 3 beautiful women. As the beat dropped, he stripped off his jacket, revealing a perfectly sculpted physique that drew a chorus of cheers from the crowd. I glanced at the stage, unable to help myself. What a show-off. His dance moves are so extra. He's about to achieve liftoff. I honestly have no idea what Victoria ever saw in a guy like that. No class. Suddenly, Victoria stopped walking. I looked at her confused. After a brief pause, she tightened her grip on my arm and marched me straight toward the dance floor. Tori! Lucas froze mid-spin, his face a mask of panic. Tori, don't get the wrong idea. I was just... My friends brought me here to blow off some steam after you rejected me. And his eyes landed on me, and his panic morphed into rage. It was you, he spat. Tori never comes to places like this. You must have forced her. He pointed a shaking finger at me. Why are you so determined to ruin what Tori and I have? A fire ignited in my gut. This asshole. I had spent 3 years bending over backward to help them get back together, suffering in silence. And now he was blaming me. Before I could say a word, Victoria snatched a drink from a nearby table and flung its contents squarely at Lucas's face. You have a lot of nerve. Lucas, she said, her voice dripping with ice. Adam is my husband, my legally wedded husband. She stepped closer, her voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. The real question is, who the hell do you think you are, trying to interfere in our marriage? I was completely stunned. This was not in the script. Lucas's friends started chiming in. Come on, Tori, we all went to school together. You don't have to be like that. Yeah, he's been in love with you all these years. It's obviously this gold-digging creep trying to drive a wedge between you two. Teach him a lesson. In a flash, Lucas's entourage had surrounded me, their faces menacing. On the stage, Lucas watched them with a smug, satisfied look. But they had all forgotten one very important thing. This was my house. What do you think you're doing? A voice boomed from all over the club. People started getting to their feet. In seconds, more than half the patrons were on their feet, forming a wall around us. Without thinking, pushed Victoria behind me. Don't worry, baby, I got you. Sam was at the front of the pack, getting right in Lucas's friends' faces. You heard me. You think yelling makes you right. Do you have any idea whose turf you're on? You want to start something in here? I promise you, you'll be leaving on a stretcher. Lucas's crew, outnumbered and outmatched, immediately began to shrink, mumbling apologies. But one of them, trying to save face, shot me a dirty look. You just wait, kid. We'll get you when you leave the club. Sam, who had started to walk away, just laughed. He turned back to Hayes. Looks like these gentlemen still don't understand whose house this is. He grinned. Tell them, why are we all here tonight? A massive cheer erupted, drowning out the music. FORIDAMSBRTHDAY. These clowns, they're actually pretty loyal, I thought. A lot more loyal than Victoria, anyway. Never threw me a decent birthday party in 3 years. I wasn't the original Adam, so I didn't really hold it against her. Victoria glanced at me, then raised her voice to be heard over the crowd. Thank you all for celebrating my husband's birthday. All drinks tonight are on me. Enjoy yourselves. Thanks, Tori, the crowd roared back. But this clearly wasn't her scene. After settling the tab, she took my arm to lead me out. Victoria. Lucas, still not giving up, shouted from the stage. Do you have any idea what my life has been like these last 3 years without you? Victoria stopped and stared at him, her face a cold, emotional as mask. Lucas, she said, her voice clear and steady. I came here tonight to celebrate my husband's birthday, but since you're here, let's get this over with once and for all. Whatever we had. End of the day. You gave me an ultimatum. Come with you to California, or we were over. I have a family now. I have no interest in reminiscing with you. She took a step closer, and I suggest you stop trying to destroy my relationship with my husband, Lucas's eyes blazed with fury. You're so heartless. Victoria, I reached out to you constantly while I was away, and you never once replied. Some nights, the only thing that got me through was the thought of you. Victoria paused, then let out a short, bitter laugh. Did you really think I only have one Instagram account? Just because you blocked me doesn't mean I couldn't see what you were up to, Mr. Bennett. I have other ways of keeping tabs. Hearing that, I froze. If I remembered the novel correctly, the original Adam, knowing the power of a one true love, had gone to extreme lengths to cut off all contact between them. He'd even pulled strings to try and keep Lucas from ever returning to the country. I hadn't done any of that. In pursuit of my quiet, comfortable future, I'd done nothing but play the part of the perfect, oblivious husband. Victoria wasn't stupid, of course. She wouldn't just blindly trust that her old flame was pining away for her overseas. She had her own ways of finding out the truth. You know what I hate more than anything? She said, her eyes fixed on Lucas. I hate liars. Liars. I'm a liar. I've been living one big lie. I felt a sudden hollowness in my chest. I was so lost in thought I don't even remember getting back into the car. Just don't lie to me, okay? In the car? Victoria's voice was heavy with exhaustion. If there's something you don't want to tell me, you don't have to, but I can't stand being laid to. I didn't say anything. A wave of guilt washed over me. It wasn't a lie, not really. It was an act. I never thought we'd actually make it. Thinking back, Victoria had been good to me. The mansion, the fleet of supercars in the garage, the black card with no limit. She'd never tried to control me, but from day one, because I knew the story, I was convinced she would leave me for Lucas. If I hadn't read that novel, if I hadn't believed from the start that she was just using me, would I have been able to put on this act for 3 years? No, of course not. And after seeing her completely demolish Lucas at the bar, the guilt was a physical weight in my chest. I'm sorry, I said quietly. I won't lie to you again. The mood shifted. A sly grin touched her lips. So my husband is quite the big shot of the club? Tell me, have you been picking up girls there? The sudden change in topic caught me off guard. No, absolutely not. I was just bored at home. So, I go to Lucid sometimes for a drink. I met all those guys there. They call me MC Wordplay, the undisputed king of Lucid. Before I'd woken up in this world, I was a DJ. I knew how to work a crowd. That's how I made so many friends so quickly. Oh, really? Just for a drink? Remembering my promise, I sighed and told her everything. The whole story of my secret life at the club. Victoria was silent for a long time. Finally, she shook her head, a sad smile on her face. It seems you prefer a life of freedom. I've been holding you back. That's not true. I turned to look out the window as the streetlet streaked by, painting the dark city in strokes of gold. I don't really have any big ambitions, I admitted. No grand goals I'm chasing. Call it lazy, call it unambitious, whatever. I thought about my past life, a monotonous existence that had sanded down all my sharp edges, leaving me with little desire for anything more. If we get divorced, I'll find a nice little house on the coast, live out the rest of my days in peace. That sounds pretty good, Screech. Car lurched to a sudden violent stop. I looked up, startled, and met Victoria's gaze, her eyes as bright and intense as the moon. What's wrong? Nothing? She said, her voice tight. My foot slipped. We didn't go home. Instead, Victoria drove to a scenic overlook on a hill, just outside the city. She didn't say where we were going, and I didn't ask. From the top, the entire city spread out below us, a glittering tapestry of purple, red, and blue lights that chased away the darkness and filled the night with a warm, electric glow. Victoria took out her phone and made a call. Start it. Start what? Oh my God, is this it? Is she going to murder me and bury my body in the woods? No, stop it. My wife wouldn't do that. I tried to calm myself down, but my eyes darted around nervously. "Look," she said, her cool hand slipping into my coat pocket, her fingers lacing with mine. I looked up. Whoosh, 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 fireworks. A cascade of them, exploding across the night sky in a riot of dazzling color. The bursts of light rained down like a shower of stars, illuminating the entire sky and awakening something deep inside me that I thought had long since died. Every man, no matter how cynical, has a weakness for romance. And this, I had to admit, was romantic as hell. At some point, Victoria had leaned against me, her head resting on my shoulder. I wrapped my arms around her. "Do you like your birthday present?" she whispered. This is for me, of course. I was going to come out here to set it up myself, but you seemed so unhappy earlier. I thought back to earlier that evening, when I'd assumed her client dinner was a cover for a date with Lucas. I'd been so sure. But she had been planning this for me the whole time. This I squealed. When did she get so romantic? Oh man, no one has ever done anything like this for me. In our 3 years of marriage, Victoria had never been neglectful. There were always gifts on birthdays and holidays. They were occasional, a wire transfer, a delivery from a luxury brand. Never anything like this. Never anything with so much thought, so much heart. I pulled her closer, buried my face in her hair. "Thank you, honey." After the fireworks, everything changed. Victoria started coming home every night. I was still the man behind the powerhouse, keeping the house spotless and having dinner ready when she walked through the door. I hardly even went to Lucid anymore. Sam complained that business was down since their star attraction had disappeared. Then one day, the internet exploded, and I was at the center of the storm. "Bro, get off your ass and get online," Sam's frantic voice said over the phone. "You're blowing up." An article had gone viral with the headline that read, THEKINGOFGOLDDIGCGIS HOWAKEPTM ANSCHMEDHISWAYINTOATCHFORTUNE. Someone had taken photos of me for my nights at the club and created a damning photo collage. Alone wouldn't have been enough to break the internet, but the story identified me as the husband of Victoria Sterling, CEO of Sterling Holdings. Some enterprising troll had even written a whole fan-fiction history for me. A you-faced schemer who played the part of a soft, effeminate boy toy at home while secretly living a debauched life. All part of a master plan to kick out Victoria's one true love and steal her company. This is a total smear campaign. I fumed. Someone is paying for this. Sam had already rallied the guys to try and run defense for me online, but it was useless. Whoever was behind this had an army of bots and trolls pushing the narrative. Our attempts to clear my name only seemed to confirm the story in the public's mind. That afternoon, the main character herself, Victoria Sterling, issued a statement. She pushed it straight to the top of every news feed. "My marriage to Adam Miller is a private matter, but one that is legal and legitimate. I will not tolerate slander against my husband. Sterling Holdings will pursue legal action against any and all individuals and outlets spreading these malicious rumors to the fullest extent of the law." At the same time, the Sterling Holdings legal team released a trove of documents. They laid out the complete timeline of Victoria's relationship with Lucas Bennett, followed by the date and official record of her marriage to me. But the killer blow was the document proving the origin of Sterling Holdings itself. A company called Miller Properties. That's right. Victoria had started with nothing. The seed capital for her entire empire had come from my family's business, which she had transformed from a failing real estate firm into the behemoth it was today. In an instant, the narrative of the gold-digging pretty boy collapsed. I was already a major shareholder in the company. Our assets were equally shared. The entire premise of the smear was a lie. Victoria was furious. She didn't just go after the online trolls, she went after the source. Her lawyers buried Lucas Bennett in litigation, a move that effectively ended the entire sordid affair. Victoria came home late that night, a little after. The smell of whiskey was on her breath. I didn't say anything. I just smiled, took her coat, and handed her a pair of slippers, the familiar routine of small comfort. "You've been drinking," I said, stating the obvious. I knew she never drank with clients. I didn't ask why. "Sit down," she said, her voice soft. "We need to talk." Her eyes were hazy, with a touch of vulnerability in them that made my heart ache. She's so beautiful, I thought. How am I supposed to talk about a divorce with her now? Her long eyelashes fluttered, and she let out a sigh that seemed to carry the weight of the world. "Let's get a divorce. You can have the house," she continued, her voice flat, "and the cars. Take whichever ones you want. We'll split the company shares. The annual dividends alone are more than enough to live on for the rest of your life." She slumped back into the sofa, as if all the strength had gone out of her. She felt like a failure. She had married me on a whim, a rebound from Lucas's betrayal, thinking she would never love again. But over 3 years, my quiet presence had become an essential part of her life, a foundation she didn't know how to live without. And now she felt she had broken it beyond repair. I looked up. My usual evasiveness is replaced by a new, unfamiliar firmness. "So it is about Lucas?" "You can't forget him." My voice was sharper than I intended. "Then why? Why did you do what you did at the club?" "Lucas," she said, a flash of irritation in her eyes. "Why does it always have to be about him? Haven't you figured out yet? I don't have any feelings for him." She pushed herself up, using the last of her energy to meet my gaze. Her beautiful eyes, once so cold, were now filled with a desperate, pleading vulnerability. "Adam," she whispered, her voice cracking. "After all this, don't you know who I love? It's me." The thought hit me like a physical blow. All this time, I had been so sure she would leave me. I never dared to hope for anything more. But tonight, for the first time, I saw the real Victoria, not the powerhouse CEO, but a woman who, like anyone else, just needed to be loved. I stood up and pulled her into my arms, holding her tight. A wave of shame and regret washed over me. "I'm sorry," I whispered in her hair. "Let's not get a divorce, okay? Let's never, ever talk about being apart again." Victoria tilted her head back to look at me, the icy mask gone completely. Her face opened and filled with a love that took my breath away. We kissed, a deep, searching kiss that erased 3 years of lies and pretense. After a long moment, she pulled back slightly, a soft smile on her lips. "Adam," she said, her voice full of a new kind of promise, "let's have a baby." "Okay," I said without a moment's hesitation. "Okay."